Oh, my name's Fox Rental. Look at that, Fox. I love Godzilla. I love King Kong. Well, I love Godzilla a lot, and also this is Optimus Primal. But still, if you know me, I love Godzilla and all that stuff, and I don't know if cause here's the thing, I would usually, watch the trailer for something before I make a review, but also, if I have the video, you know what, I am just gonna...
Hey, buddy, I don't know if this will get to you, I hope so. Actually, I don't, because it'll probably mean I'm dead.
Yeah, but, this is Legacy of Monsters, which I didn't see any trailers for this, and I'm not going to, but I just saw one clip. I just saw one still image of one of the trailers. I was thinking, maybe I should put the trailer in. And then immediately I was like, then I saw the thing, I'm like, no, I want to be surprised. Because I didn't expect the freaking monster I saw at the end of episode 2, which was like, oh shit. So I'm like, I want to go in not knowing what other monsters are going to be popping up. I want to be surprised by their designs and everything. But you know me, I love Godzilla. Godzilla is my favorite kaiju, and, well, that's probably not my own. It's my favorite kaiju, and also, other than maybe Gamera. Gamera's probably my second favorite. But Monsterverse is probably my main favorite. Monsterverse is or King of the Monsters is my favorite, movie, period. I love that movie so damn much. I could watch that movie and just enjoy it all the way through. I love that stuff so much. Which, it does suck that the fandom for the Monsterverse seems to be either going, oh, 2014 is the best one. King of the Monsters sucks, or King of the Monsters is the best one. 2014 sucks. Which I will say, 2014 one, there's a lot that I kind of look at that movie and I kind of just go, wow, you didn't have to cut away from the fight. But other than that movie's pretty fine, honestly. I just still prefer King of the Monsters because you see the monsters are on full display. They fight everything. I love stuff that they hint at with the lore of the world building with that Atlantis area where Godzilla apparently used to live. The all the different monsters that pop up, they're just all the Toho ones still, but still all of them. And then it leading into more things like Hollow Earth theory and all this stuff. And the Monsterverse is probably one of my favorite cinematic universes, if not my favorite one. I love the MCU, don't get me wrong, but I love it a lot. Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I love that this is the opening scene with John Goodman's character, and pretty much, I'm not sure if this happened in Skull Island. He pretty much throws a bag in here, but he's getting chased by one of these tree spider things. Which, funny enough, he then is also then saved, kind of, by the rock crabs from the Skull Island anime. Which, alright, continuity between them, I like that. And pretty much I somewhat really like what's happening with Monarch Legacy of Monsters, but I will say I am happy they also uploaded the first 2 episodes. It's only the first 2 episodes, depending on when this comes out. The third episode of me reviewing will probably come out later. Because the first 2 episodes they released together, which I think is a smart model. Because the first episode is more slow to build up everything that's happening. We do get Godzilla in it, which is great. But it's supposed to build up everything that's happening. And then the second one, we get the ball rolling a lot farther. We get more monsters popping up. And even then, saying that, the first episode is actually pretty decent, where it seems like you're having 2 stories happening at the same time, where you have these group of Monarch scientists discovering crevices in the ground at this one radiation place, which I was at one point why is there a dude just hunting food out in this wild area right now? Okay, whatever. But stuff like that. And then you also have this one young lady finding out that I guess her dad may or may not be dead. and it looks like he's trying to get her affairs in order. His affairs in order. Goes to his apartment, and turns out there's a family living there because he has a separate family. And so this man has 2 wives and 2 kids that do not know each other. So it's like, oh shit. And while that's also going on, the stuff in John Goodman's bag he throws into the water here, which it takes many years for it to eventually be found, has a bunch of data on the monster, on like kaiju, on the Titans and the Monsterverse and all this stuff. Which, when does this take place? Yeah, okay, 73. But like this whole thing about monsters and stuff like that, and they find out, they're like, what is happening here? And then we find out that there's a picture of the 2 now knowing each other's siblings, grandmother, who's standing in the footprint of Godzilla. And they're like, why is she there? And then it turns out the whole thing that we're following, the scientists or whatever, is actually in the past. And I think it's the 1950s, I think. So it was before even Skull Island. Which I do love that the series opens up with Skull Island too, because it's kind of a cool thing where, because here's the thing, like, if you're gonna tell me like who's my favorite kaiju, Godzilla or King Kong, it's gonna be Godzilla. Even second favorite, I would still say like Gamera. Like Kong is cool. Kong is okay, but I don't know. He misses a little bit of the coolness factor, I think, for me sometimes. Especially because, like, at least for a really good kaiju, I say, you have to have it be a mix of different things. Whether it be something like Godzilla, where his literal name Gojira, translates to, if I remember correctly, gorilla whale. And he's a giant reptile / amphibian who can breathe underwater but then has atomic breath. Like, a mix of things is help. I guess you could say Kong is a mix of human and gorilla, I guess? Maybe? I don't know. Like, giant monsters, I feel like, have to be a good mix of different things. Even Gamera, who's, just a really giant, is a giant turtle, but he's also, an ancient super weapon that was created by Atlanteans to fight other giant super weapons that were made. And, has blades on his shell and spins around, shoots fire and stuff. You need a good mix. Kong doesn't really have that much on that. But the thing is about Kong is the lore around him makes him elevates him more than just being a giant gorilla. Where Skull Island plays a major part. Where I'm getting a little bit off topic, sorry, but where Skull Island plays a major part, being pretty much the top side version of what's happening in the Hollow Earth. And we're gonna explore that even more in Fallen Empire, New Empire. So, but yeah, I like that connection there. But pretty much, but back to the family, Japanese family, which also it seems like the entire plan. Which what I really wanted to bring up was pretty much they find these old Monarch files. It turns out grandparents were actually in the past, who we thought were modern day scientists were actually past scientists, and they find these eggs that were then hatched and then grab the grandmother and drag her into the darkness, and that's kind of all we see until next episode, where we go back further, where we find out Graham had the military escort that was with her in the first episode. We see when they first meet, who is U.S. agent, who is the evil Captain America in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which I was like, oh shit! I'm like, okay. But I'm like, all right, I can dig that. I for a second I got him confused with Tarzan, who was in Godzilla versus Kong, which I don't think I ever brought up in that review. But they got the dude who plays Tarzan to be the human character for King Kong, which I thought that's kind of funny. But But pretty much, but in this it's U.S. Agent. See how they meet, as well as the third guy, which I think might either be tied to John Goodman thing, who John Goodman says, "Hey buddy, I hope you get this." Actually, I don't. Like, I think that's the buddy he was talking about. But John Goodman's character, or it might even be John Goodman's character. I don't know. Or like younger. It's 20 years ago, so it wouldn't be sorry that this was John Goodman's character, but younger. How they all meet, how the scientist is trying to find all of these radiation paths, while this guy is a cryptozoologist, and the soldier guy's just kind of really there for the ride, to protect the scientist, and pretty much they're trying to follow this radiation path to find the end. Like, there's a cryptozoologist, like, there's there are dragons and stuff like that. Like, I'm trying to find, what happened pretty much to his crew at some point. But it was to find out why certain people, like why are there myths here about dragon that flies around and there's a sickness or whatever. Like, and it's really interesting. And also, this all takes place in 2015 also, so it's before Godzilla vs. Kong. But I'm trying to think. But yeah, and then there's a whole thing where Monarch gets wind of these files being found and trying to track down the main characters. While in the past we see with our first meeting of these giant creatures, and also Rama, I can't remember his name. The cryptozoologist is the one who came up with the name Muto for the certain kaijus and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can dig that. But then still on that not a flip note, but that's kind of where that goes. Which also there are some I assume these must be references hidden inside it, hidden inside the thing, because there's at one point where the son of the Japanese scientist guy, who again they're trying to find their dad or figure out what happened to their dad, the two siblings, and they're after G-Day, which the main girl, she was a teacher on the school bus that was on the San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, when Godzilla came. And it seems like when Godzilla busted through the bridge after being attacked by the military, the guy made the bus fall, and they all died with a bunch of kids in it. Which I think people were mad about that, and Godzilla's supposed to protect them. That's the thing also I love about this Godzilla too. He is 100% the hero of this story, or of Earth and monsters. He's the king, he's the guardian, he protects Earth. On that same note, if some people get stomped on the way there, he doesn't really care too much, because he's I need to protect the entire planet. Leave me alone. So, and also as mentioned, it was after he was getting attacked by the military, after he's just trying to save the planet, but whatever. Also, they had masks. The scientists had masks on for radiation. I'm like, I feel like you should have more than just gas masks. Also, Japan. Also, again, I keep jumping around, which I apologize. But another thing I actually love about this show is something similar to what I liked about She-Hulk. It is a much more grounded, it's more on the ground show that kind of shows more of the building out the world of the Monsterverse a lot more. Where, yes, you have other shows like Loki, which I guess, Loki is kind of on that note. But Loki, and I'm not saying in a bad sense, I'm saying this in the sense of Loki, Winter Soldier, Secret Invasion, all that stuff. It doesn't really build out, it builds out certain things Skrulls, okay, fine. They're nations that were doing way better during the blip. Okay, fine. But She-Hulk, it built out more that there are a lot more superpowered people out there than we originally thought. Which, it feeds it more into a daily kind of thing that happened versus, all these weird events of a Jin dimension surrounding this one character and all this stuff and surrounding this character. it builds out more to be about the world itself, and that's kind of what Legacy of Monsters kind of does. Yeah, it is obviously following this family, as well as like their connection with kaijus and all this stuff, but it's also showing different things like Japan is goddamn ready for a Godzilla attack. Like, there's like evacuation things with Godzilla's face on it. There's missiles like on buildings, like scoping the area, and they have drills for like kaiju attack, where they all start to hide. I'm like, yeah, that's stuff you don't really see, if I'm remembering correctly. You don't see in any of the other MonsterVerse movies and stuff like that, and you can focus on that smaller view of the world with this, and I like that a lot. And this show, at least so far, seems to be doing that pretty well. I'm trying to think. I think I pretty much covered what happened in the last 2 episodes. The scientists in the past do eventually find like this dragon type creature, which I want to know if Godzilla's going to make more appearances, which is also the main reason why I don't want to see the trailers, because I want it to be a surprise when I go in and I'm like, oh shit, Godzilla! I don't want to be like, oh look, this looks familiar in the trailer. I bet this is when Godzilla pops up, and it pops up. It's like, alright. But yeah, I want to go in surprised. I want to be able to be like, oh shit, that looks like a cool ass kaiju. Like stuff like that. I love kaijus a lot. I'm happy the show is happening. And then apparently also Godzilla -1 is going to come out December 1st, which if it's in Japanese, I'm probably going to go see it by myself because my family won't go see a movie that's in Japanese. I don't think. So I'll probably have to go by myself to go see that. But by God, I have a theater that's only a block away from me now. So I am 100% okay with this. Because I will go see Godzilla -1 when it comes out December 1st. That being said too, like I will, like we got this month. We have this coming out right now. Then we have that next month, and then we have New Empire, I believe, in the next few months. I can't remember. Alright, we're getting a lot of good Godzilla MonsterVerse stuff, and this is also coming off the heels of Gamera a few months ago. So I'm excited. I love all these kaiju. I'll keep making private reviews for each episode as these come out. Which the next episode comes out tomorrow for me, so shows how a little bit late I was. But I finally got an Apple Plus account to work. But thanks for watching 3 videos. Oh, enjoy this. I like this a lot. Oh, wait, there's actually a cool little reference. I think it's a reference. In the back of the son's room, he has 2 figures. One is a robotic, like his window. So he has a robotic dinosaur that, if you look at certain scenes, it has spikes on the back. And then a blocky-looking humanoid figure kind of jumping up in the air like this. And all I'm thinking is, either that's a reference to Kong. I would hope that's a reference to Kong fighting Godzilla or fighting Mechagodzilla. Because then, they've done that before. Like, they kind of referenced Mothra in the first 2014 Godzilla. If I remember correctly, like with like the moths in the back and like certain pictures that the main character. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did something like that. And this is like more of a following the human scenario. But I feel like this show, what it's doing is kind of like how Godzilla, or like the 2014 Godzilla did, where it follows the humans and it slowly builds up to the giant kaijus. Because I will say, like when I first heard they were gonna make a Godzilla show that's gonna be on Apple Plus, I was like, well shit, how the hell are they gonna do this badass CGI for a TV show? And from what I've seen, they've been doing pretty well, especially when the Godzilla does make an appearance for G-Day, which is a big event for like everything that's happened and all this stuff. So I'm excited to see how this goes on and how it plays out. But also, they actually do, well, not in the show, but somewhere, they do actually explain that the reason why Godzilla's dorsal fins are different here versus this is Godzilla versus Kong, I think, design. I think, because this is the Titan. Yeah, it would have to be, because it's the Titan Tech ones, which I believe. The reason why the dorsal fins are different from that and the 2014 is because I guess he fought Mutos beforehand and they broke his dorsal fins. They're still growing back, and this they grow back into their more maple tree link. But yeah, that's not explained in the show, but like I believe they are a spike here in Legacy Monsters, but I don't know. But this is great. I'm excited to see where this leads. I love the MonsterVerse a lot, and I love giant ass kaiju's. And honestly, if there was ever like want to do a fun crossover, MCU and the MonsterVerse should do a crossover at some point, especially with the multiverse thing, so that because Godzilla is in the comic books of Marvel, which means he is one of the few characters to both be in the Marvel universe and DC universe. But yeah, the television that I've loved is watching trivia videos. I've done links on my Facebook because there's trivia videos, which also I love that. Apparently the DC one's happening right now. I'm gonna probably wait until the trade comes out. But Godzilla is like sees Superman and goes, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here, alien." Like in a sense of like like same thing with Ghidorah. It's like you're throwing off the balance of this world. I need to end you. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, I love Godzilla. Love Kong. Thanks for watching trade videos. Hope you enjoy this, and we will see you later. Should get like an axe or something like that. Again, this is Optimus Prime. It's not Kong, but it'd be cool if I could get like some kind of like Transformers axe or something to put in his hand, be like his weapon. Actually, I think there's like Micromaster mini cons that actually do that. I should probably look into that.